Okay, I'll just say it. Do you have to be part of the rainbow community to say the girls are fighting? Because the girls are fighting.
Get what it is.
Higher learning with the spiritual rebels.
Get what it is.
Higher learning with the spiritual rebels.
Get what it is.
Higher learning with the spiritual rebels.
You gonna get this higher learning with the spiritual rebels. What it is.
Higher learning with the spiritual rebels.
Get what it is.
Higher learning with the spiritual rebels.
Get what it is.
Higher learning with the spiritual rebels.
You gonna get this higher learning with the spiritual rebels.
Welcome to the Spiritual Rebels Higher Learning. You've come to the place where viral meets spirituality. Don't forget, subscribe and hit that notification bell for all of our new videos and uploads. Now sit back, relax. It's time to get rebellious.
Things we're not going to talk about today
Got it.
because we don't give a shit.
Okay.
Drake and Kendrick.
Right.
We weren't interested in it when the battle started.
Yeah.
Spiritually, what's your take on that spiritually? Like, do you think it means anything? Do we care?
No, I think it's just all in bad taste at this point. And I mean, obviously I still check up on like, what people are saying and stuff like that. Like that post I was telling you about. That was kind of funny to me, the whole
Which one?
The one I was just telling you about, the one where the girl was talking about LA artists being insensitive.
Oh yeah. Well,
to how the weather is different in other places, and y'all want everybody to get active. So,
well, you know what? It's LA winter here. Okay.
Yeah.
LA winter means it's like it's 50 degrees at night with no sun, so it's cold.
Right. But
you have to have a sweater or a sweatshirt on. Oh my.
But as far as like the spiritual aspects of it, I when you understand where it's all coming from. So another video I was watching was talking about how a lot of this started from everything that started with Pusha T and Drake, which initially started from something that was going on between Pharrell and Birdman, and people that understand that Drake is connected to Cash Money and all of this stuff.
And let's not forget Kanye. Kanye was wedged in there nice and nastily.
Yeah. And when people started doing the deep dives and going back to where all this stuff started from, and then Kendrick talking about inheriting the beef from Push and Pharrell and stuff like that, it just, like you said, spiritually, it just came back in a way where it's like, oh, this is all just ego based in trying to carry yourself as, I'm the person that's going to ride for the bros, that type of deal. So I was just like, yeah, if that's what this is all rooted in, then it's just all, unnecessary at this point. And we talked about before how it's just not even rooted in anything honorable.
No, not really. It's just
at this point.
It's about being seen. And even, I mean, we obviously have an unpopular opinion because most people they're just doing this riding really hard for Kendrick thing, and we have seen Kendrick do better.
Yeah.
So we kind of can call this out for this ain't what this is. It very much is. You call me a wife beater, and I'm calling you a pedophile.
Right. Right.
Even though, and I sent that Touré video to you. Did you see that? I should have saved that so we could look at it.
Which one was it?
The one where Touré was talking about how Karen-y.
Oh yeah. The lawsuit thing. Yeah.
It's not lost on us right now that we said we weren't going to talk about it, but we're sitting here talking about it.
Right.
But like I think that's all I'm gonna say. Like I'm not engrossed in it. I don't.
Yeah, yeah, it's past. Like we talk about cutoffs with certain artists all the time, and like the
I
cutoff point.
haven't even listened to. I'm sorry. What's the album called again? I don't even know what it's called in this instance.
The newest one
Mm-hmm.
is called GNX.
I thought it was. I know it starts with a G. I did look at one of the videos, I think from I Still Love Her.
Okay.
The I Still Love Her, the page on Insta.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um for all of us, all of us hip hop heads and the
Mm-hmm.
old school quote unquote, because there's not a lot of new school stuff on I Still Love Her. It's
Right, right.
mostly
Yeah, very, very much.
very little. It's mostly
Yeah,
for old heads, like me. And you to an extent now. You're in the
right,
old
right.
head club now. But
Thanks.
it has a lot of, I mean, you once said DMX raised you, and so if DMX raised you, you're in the old head club.
Yeah, yeah. DMX is that was the OG. Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm. DMX is for OGs now.
Yeah.
And you know, like Run DMC, who raised us, is like who
Right.
for a lot of people. But I mean, you gotta be in the, you gotta be a exclude like a bit
Yeah.
more know to understand.
See, and that's
Raised us.
bad. Like that's bad because like Run DMC is like still very much commercially viable if you're digging.
Oh yeah.
Like that's crazy to be
It's
like,
insane to think that's not true. Run DMC,
yeah,
a lot of the things that you don't that they don't know that they're connected to is it's a direct pipeline to
right,
people like Run DMC and Houdini.
yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
yeah. Run DMC, LL, like LL, who, like really, like
I
and
don't. Are people aren't saying LL Who? That's ridiculous.
see, that's what I'm saying. Like,
LL's still out there and present. People still know who he is. He LL is in the same lane as Ice Cube is now. He's in the zeitgeist. He's just.
yeah. The problem
They're
is
like, wait a minute, we thought LL was an actor. What are you talking about? Like that.
yeah, yeah, that, yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, oh yeah, I saw him in like the other day. I was watching something. This is a wild tangent, but the other day I saw a reaction channel
Mm-hmm.
doing a reaction of the original Best Man.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, I've never seen the actual Best Man. She's like, I only seen like I know there's a Best Man Holiday, and I know there's like that series that was out. Like, never seen or heard of the original Best Man, but knows all the other
Yeah,
Best
that's
Man, like the sequels to the Best Man. I know it's a franchise. Like in our mind, it's like the Best Man is a franchise. I mean, it is a franchise though.
yeah. At this point, yeah.
But we don't see it like we're like, no, the Best Man. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So when she watches the original Best Man, she's just completely. Everybody is horrible and terrible. Oh my God, I can't believe. I'm like, she's just going off. And I won't say which reactor this is, but she's a bit of a pick me. Not a bit of, she is a pick.
Are we okay, so are we talking about pick-me's today? Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't.
About pick me's every day. It's always a thing.
Are we
We can't not talk about pick me's if we're talking just about.
I'm only asking because we had talked about it before. And I didn't watch the whole Lisa Ray thing.
Yeah. But bringing it back to a spiritual, she's an obvious CC. For those who don't know what that would mean, that's my name, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody,
Right.
but it's the version of Christian, which is crazy.
And shout out to our crazy Christians.
Shout out to the crazy Christians.
Yeah.
And so she's a CC. So if you're a CC, you're gonna be a pick me.
Is that I never even thought about that correlation.
Well, what did you say the other day?
Ah, yes, yeah. The basics of the Bible and spirituality. Got it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Christianity, because we have a saying over here that um Christianity,
Spirituality.
no, well, not religion is spirituality for dummies.
There you go.
And
There
you
you
took
go.
it further and said religion is spirituality for men, which some people might still say dummies. I'm not gonna say that.
Right, right.
But
Depending on what kind of page you getting the information from.
it's not, I mean, we understand humans are gone human. They're just, humans are all we're all having a human experience, and it is the experience it is. So what are you gonna do?
Mm,
But deal with what we gotta deal with. But yeah, I mean, it's Christianity is it's all he and him. All the pronouns are he and him.
yeah. Yep. Very much
Like
so.
it gives you straight out what it is, and
Hmm.
not just Christianity, it's all of them. He, him,
Our Father. The
God is a
Father.
him.
The big guy. He's your daddy.
Right, your father. It's, whereas in spirituality we subscribe more to the fact that God is an entity.
Yeah. Them, they, and sometimes non-binary.
Right. It doesn't make any sense for God to be a him, given that one of the divine laws that spiritualists adhere to, one of the 12, is the law of gender. So if there is feminine and masculine, why would God just be masculine? That doesn't
Right.
make any freaking sense.
Hmm. God is
So for us, we can't. You
God
don't
is more of
subscribe
an
to those kind of
us.
things.
God is more of an us
How about that?
than a
That's
he
why in the
than a he
Bible
she.
it says the great I am. It doesn't say, it doesn't. So I am.
Hmm.
I am, and I am as an entity. It isn't a gender. It's a if we're being funny, I guess. I don't know if you remember back in the day there was a DJ who used to make fun of Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Not Tom Joyner. It was who's that other huge, not Michael Basin either. It was this huge, it was the DJ who was responsible for making a bunch of parody records, and I can't remember his name right now.
Mm,
I know he was on in Detroit, where I'm from.
okay.
I can't remember if he was ever on in Philly, like Michael Basin was, but he had a whole thing where he would say Mike, may he rest, wasn't a her or a him, he was a Shem. And he had a
Yo,
whole song called Shem.
that
He used to be singing that Shem song all the time.
that sounds vaguely familiar.
Mhm. It was, obviously we was viewed as very disrespectful at this point, but
Yeah,
I mean, he was on to something and didn't know it.
right. That now he probably be, well, I don't know, depending on how the message was conveyed. Like some people
It
would say,
wasn't conveyed the right way.
right. Some
It
people would
wasn't
say,
done how we're doing it now.
yeah. Some people would say ahead of his time, and others would call him,
Yes, still disrespectful, but yes, I would
yeah,
say very
yeah.
much ahead of his time.
Others might say he was really, really ignorant.
It was done in an ignorant fashion. It was, you know what? It was done in the Gordian fashion. It was done for shits and giggles.
They Gordian, there you go.
But I mean, sometimes we're right in the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're right for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Shout out to Keith
Again,
Sweat.
hey,
Yeah.
humanity is about being right for the wrong reasons sometimes. Speaking of which, did you get to watch any of what I sent you yesterday? And I'm gonna call her name. That Shira 7 video, which is not Shira 7, it's her other video.
Her other page. Yeah, I watched some of that video. I watched like the beginning. I don't know how much the video was her talking to that guy.
Oh, it was quite a bit of it.
Okay.
But you see what I was talking about with spirituality going wrong?
Yeah. They focus very much on the wrong parts of things.
Number one, here's what I don't like about what people get wrong about spiritualists. We are still very much believers in a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are still very much believers in God. We just believe in God in the way we believe in it, instead of the way we've been programmed up to do
Yes.
things in the patriarchy. And we're not gutting the system, whereas what
Just
you
a minute.
see them doing, it's all about what you can get out of it. There's no what you will never see her doing. And I'm talking about Shera 7, just in case
Okay.
anybody knows. What you will never see her doing on either page. And that wasn't her Shera 7 page.
Right.
She's gonna give you, and where folks get thrown off is she's gonna give you 2 truths and a lie.
Exactly.
Sorry. It's probably all the way around. She's gonna give you 2 lies and the truth.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle.
So what she's talking about technically has validity to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So she was making I don't know if you were really watching it. She was talking about.
I only got through about 20 minutes.
It's hard to get through more than that without.
Yeah. I only got through about 20 minutes.
Just going completely why?
Yeah.
But she's just talking about broke people. So hold on, let's see. I'm gonna bring it up.
There she is.
We got it.
Sprinkle, y'all. I'm here. Welcome. So we're going to be talking about rebuke those brokies spiritually.
Dang.
Okay. How y'all doing? Mm-hmm.
I'm trying.
All right, so we are here. Thank y'all for being here. How many of y'all are excited about today?
So as you can see her other pages, Shera Goddess.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you.
It's not, and I'm pretty sure Shera 7 is an offshoot of this channel. I think she realized that the BWE space was a bigger moneymaker.
Mm.
Now you see this particular video, look how many views it has on it.
Right. Yeah, I see it, yeah.
So this one does, but if you went to a lot of her other videos about more directly occult things,
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't have. I don't think because I've by me being a practitioner, I've been in I've seen so many of people's pages and seeing what they're doing. And so I realized when I stumbled upon it that she had a second page. A lot of people that follow her, I don't even know if they know she has a second page.
Well, I guess we can't assume that everybody is doing the knowledge on that type of stuff. I mean, I would usually see that someone else had another page.
Mm-hmm.
If I see they got one, I might come across them because of another one. Especially if you follow people on Instagram, a lot of times they'll legitimately just have links to everything that they're involved in.
She might have it. I'm not on TikTok the way you are.
Right.
She's on TikTok though.
Okay. So let me see.
Well, so it could be linked on TikTok and not this.
You just reminded me I gotta set my TikTok up again. I got a new phone. But yeah, I'll check that out.
Oh, you did? You got a new phone now?
Yeah. It came.
Okay, cool.
Pretty quick. notes.
What I'll say is, especially about Ashira, is you don't gut spirituality and then hop on and start talking about spirituality as a means of something. So
Yeah.
and as a modality to get something done. And this is how you know when you're dealing with low vibrational frequencies. And that's exactly what she is and what she does. She has admitted to being a sociopath
Mm.
and has no qualms about this.
Right.
I've seen her do it like on her. That's why when people are talking about, I'm like, why are you got so the other creator, spiritual whistleblower, everybody, a lot of the women are jumping on her and attacking the ones that aren't her followers.
Okay.
And I'm guessing, I don't know if these women are Ashura's followers or if they're just people who think that they're neutral about all of it. If you have any spirituality about yourself and or you're a Christian, like a straight Christian,
Right.
you would be with spiritual whistleblower. You wouldn't be with like Ashira she's pagan. She is not a Christian.
Right.
And it's fine, it's not bad. In this case, though, she's amoral.
Yeah.
None of those things are exclusive, though. You can be a Christian and be amoral. I know plenty of them.
I want to take it a step further though, like you said, if you have any spirituality about yourself. But I mean, I feel like a lot of people can be spiritually, they might be spiritually connected, but the problem is spiritual understanding. If you don't have any spiritual understanding of yourself, that's probably why you would align yourself with somebody like her.
And she isn't that way at all. She understands everything she's doing. She is very low vibrational. That's just, it is what it is.
Right.
Because again, I'm going to say very clearly, because if you ever watched her, and even if you watch this video, we're going to look at a little bit more of it. She's talking about rebuking what she's really talking about, and in spirituality, we would call it that 5 pentacles in tarot. We would call it that 5 pentacle energy.
Right.
Okay. It's having yourself disconnected from the spirit of lack. So it's lack mentality.
Right.
What she's talking about is disconnecting yourself from lack mentality.
Yeah, and what
she doesn't tell you is what you need to plug yourself into.
And what I got from what she was talking about mostly is like here's your cheat code into being, financially situated,
Here's how you get everything you want, bypassing all the shit you need to do.
Yeah. That's what I got mostly. Like I said, I only watched about 20 minutes.
100% spiritually bypassing, which we always talk about. If your real point on this planet is to be on your path. And what Shira is doing is a guaranteed it's a guaranteed way to fuck everything up, not reach your goal, whatever it was this time around for your planetary walk.
Right.
And fuck up and wind up back here again, maybe not having leveled up. And
pretty
so,
much.
If you were on lifetime 6 and you were like, I'm leveling up to, and maybe you're on a level 4 and you're trying to get to a level 6 or 7. So when you come back next time, maybe you can get to a level 8, and then when you come back again, you can get to a level 9 and ascend off this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or you're like us, because I mean, by us identifying as star seeds, this is probably our first and last go round. So we got
Yep.
to stay at a higher vibration so we can level up right up off this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You
Game
never
over.
come back here.
Game over.
About that.
In a sense.
Misleading people into spiritually bypassing is a dangerous thing. One thing you don't hear in this video at all, and I'm gonna play a little bit more of it in a second, is do you ever hear her talk about gratitude?
No. I only watched 20 minutes of it, but no, in that little bit of time I didn't hear anything.
I've watched her videos for years just to watch them, just for content, just to glean through her content.
Right.
Never heard her utter the word gratitude before in my life.
And that's crazy, especially
It is crazy.
Considering what you said about her being, actually in tune with everything that she's doing.
You don't put that's how you know when somebody is possibly, in my estimation, like a dark empath, and she actually has videos about putting curses and spells on people.
Mm-hmm.
And putting, like, using spells to get your way. That's on this channel. So again, if you are somebody who is spiritually aligned, why would you be aligning yourself with this energy? And why would you be defending her?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I told you, I think a lot of that is just lack of understanding. You
would be surprised. I know some people's pages. There's somebody who I do like and follow, and she is spiritually attuned, and she sometimes defends Ashera.
Yeah.
What I'll say is, because we are spiritually inclined and we have that, we don't view it as quote unquote good or bad. And people who do align with good and bad, you align with whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care. But calling something good or bad is just a way for humans to understand what the fuck to stay away from.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And in my language, in my study, because I'm more focused on the Jungian aspects, you can't run away from the dark and the light. Again, that's another one of your pillars. That's, polarity is another one of the 12.
Right.
Polarity exists. Dark and the light exists. You can't escape from the light or the dark. Your goal is to be on a light path, though.
But you are always attracting one or the other more often than not.
And that is 100% is the law of vibration and law of attraction at work. Two more of the laws. So, yes. Do you want to attract more darkness, or do you want to? And that's really what it's about, not quote unquote good or bad. Bring another one in is a law of cause and effect. Do you want more dark shit happening to you or light shit?
Mm-hmm.
If you want more light shit, you're going to have to do more light shit, and you're going to have to vibrate at a level that is going to bring you light shit, not dark shit. Listening to her.
Our discussion on how to rebuke world peace spiritually. I know I am. Sprinkle. So, how are y'all? Waiting for a few of y'all to get in the house.
I don't want to hear all this. Hold on.
That will cancel out your money ritual.
Okay, there you
did a ritual like a week ago
Mm-hmm.
for my students to do a ritual to repel the broke people, because I noticed that a good portion of them, their money rituals wasn't working because they kept broke company, and I had to really teach them that that will cancel out your money rituals and your business plans and all that, because brokenness is the energy.
Okay, so why are we not talking about abundance instead of this?
Exactly. In fact, I was just thinking when she was talking that a person
I
that
froze
was
it on the weirdness. She always
yeah
reminds me of Onika when she makes. She reminds me
yeah
so much of Onika when she makes these weird ass faces. That be flipping me out. I'm like, that is a Nicki Minaj face. What are you doing?
But no, like when she was talking, like I was just thinking, like while she was saying, like oh brokies and stuff like that. I don't know if she's using that language on purpose to just identify with a certain type of person, but people with better knowledge or just a lighter, I don't want to say better understanding, but just a better a person that wanted to align themselves more so with the lighter aspects of these things, like you said, wouldn't use that type of language.
How about that?
They might say something along the lines of how can you align yourself with people that are more financially abundant or something to that effect.
And just period talk about the thing that is in a light, like you just said, that is actually light aspect,
Right.
not dark, not what you don't want.
Yeah, because
you
I
don't
think
talk about what you don't want. You talk about what you want.
Because I think a lot of people don't understand also that someone not necessarily having the finances that you think they should have doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them
It does not.
they might have the light that you need to attract what you're talking about. So,
and everybody's on their own spiritual walk. They're on their own path. You don't
right.
know what the hell path they're on. If it does not align with your path, then it's not a judgment.
Right.
My path and yours don't align. It's my path aligns with abundance in all ways, including the material. It is legitimately a thing for somebody to come here on this planet, this go round in their life, and be aligned for whatever reason with more of the, I'm not going to call it broke, but more of the energy of being frugal,
right,
being sparse in their resources, I'll say. More like that.
Right. Or
and that's their business. I mean, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm actually going to talk about what I want to talk about. Not what we don't want.
Right.
That's the way to frame that. Number one. Number two, I'm going to say it one more time. Where's the knowledge base here? Because those of us who know, those of us who understand the law of attraction, law of vibration, we've done the legwork and the study.
Right.
We know that almost all of it is based off of the teachings of Neville Goddard. And somebody who we, even love a whole lot, who she's put a spin on it, Abraham Hicks.
Yeah.
Previously Esther Hicks. A lot of Louise Hay, a lot of the, the gurus out there that all the girlies and, boys know.
Well, the way I like to frame this kind of stuff nowadays, because how I am with this, the Stoic philosophies and everything, and how they practice traditions of minimalism. The idea in those particular traditions is basically to put yourself in the mindset of how do I put myself in a space where I don't need these things, you know, in the way that, you know, most people do. Like most people, like this conversation that she's having is like, well, if you're in this position, you might want to be, you know, I guess fighting your way into having this or fighting your way into having that, or, you know, if you want
For
to,
ego purposes, yes.
right, that kind of thing. But like, you know, Stoic, the great Stoics would say that, you know, that's not the right mind. That's not the right
But
mindset to be in.
with like Marcus Aurelius, I think.
Marcus Aurelius and
Yeah.
Seneca and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that people know.
You're right.
And
I mean, even to an extent, some of the other ones, like the other philosophers like Plato and Socrates,
mhm,
they're gonna give you the same kind of philosophies about that kind of stuff too.
right.
They were very
And
much in their, you know.
And I think the reason people don't handle things in that way is because when you, if you put yourself in a state of mind or an alignment of, you know, wow, I do finally understand that, you know, I don't have to struggle to get this, or I don't, you know, I'm good where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And I can, and it's easier to move from there versus always feeling like I need to get this, or I need to get to the next thing, or I need to get to the next thing. I think a lot of times the reason people don't work to get to that point for themselves is because that's when you have to do real work. You got to do real work once you realize,
Yep. There's no
well,
bypassing available in that lane.
right. Because okay, I have the money. So what do you want now? What do I want
so now what?
Right. Right.
And that's the point. Okay, you got all the money. Okay, now what?
Yeah.
Now what? The issue is you bypassed everything you really were supposed to do to get to the money in the first place. You, as you said earlier, you were given cheat codes. You cannot cheat yourself,
Right.
or cheat your way, or bypass your way out of your path.
And now you got,
what's gonna happen is you're gonna fuck up on this planet, this go round, come back, and still have to start that whole shit all over again.
either that or
Dumbass
you
bypassed it, and now, oops, I didn't
or now
learn.
you got to work backwards and
How
figure
about
out,
that?
you know, what can I do in the name of philanthropy or whatever, you know. And most people just, you know, they just act shallow in that way anyway. So it's not
Like,
even,
oh, look at the robber barons. Oh, I got all the money.
yeah.
Didn't learn the lessons. Oh, let me Rockefeller my way. Let me Rockefeller my way into heaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, let me Carnegie my way into this bitch so I can, yeah, no. You know, it don't go. But again, still with the face. Before I before I go back to that though, again, you're looking at the people who, she knows who Neville Goddard is, because
right.
that's what they're doing. They're going to the same source everybody else goes to. Neville Goddard believed in actual spirituality though. He believed in God.
Right.
All the gurus he went to work with believed in God. So what you're doing is you're trying to associate the light and the dark in a way that is problematic, because the word spiritually is in all this.
Yep.
But you've yanked the spirituality out of it, not talking about gratitude. Neville Goddard the first thing he's going to tell you, that anybody worth their salt that's telling you in the spirituality space, is that gratitude is the fastest way for you to put yourself in alignment with abundance. Not this shit she talking about.
Right.
Gratitude. again, I never seen this. I've never seen, I'm not gonna say anything bad about her. I've never seen Ashira talk about being grateful for anything. Again, I have seen her call herself an actual sociopath.
Mm.
She is okay. Remember I told you, she said that men, I mean, other creators have said this. If we're gonna drag this around, there's other large creators talking about that now. You know, how many times have I put you up on videos from Princella? There's more
Yeah.
just her talking about men not having the capacity to love anyone but themselves.
Right.
And only being self-centered, and that's all they're capable of. I don't believe that. They're humans, so they have the capacity to love. It's not fostered.
Right.
It's not cultivated. It exists though. If it didn't exist, they wouldn't be, that they would be not human.
Right. Exactly.
Any of us that's into any form of spirituality, if we're energy people, we know that energy have resonance, and it is very important for people that have money and trying to make money to be full.
Okay, I'm so distracted. Why did she do that to her lips? I've never understood this.
Void of broke friends. So I was really breaking that down, because that's like a part of the science.
That is a science, because broke. Okay, everybody always thinks I'm talking bad about broke people. No, I'm talking about like you said, the energy that they give off is very negative. And like, if you ever talk to a broke person, they're very negative. They're always stressed. They always got something going on. So, like you said, scientifically, I'm agreeing with you 100%. Scientifically, that chemistry from your body is leaking out of your breath, your aura, and everything, and getting into the other person.
Okay, she literally just told on herself. So you understand and know,
Mm-hmm.
and she does. You understand and know that by not painting the entire picture, not giving the whole story about how all this works, the low vibrational energy that you're in is also leaking out to people.
Right.
It's not just people who are quote unquote, and she's not wrong. And that's what
she's
I
not.
about giving you two lies and a truth.
She's not, because I mean, all right, if that's what we doing, and she's so vivid with her description of what type of energies broke people give off, then you need to tell people the other side. What does it look like when somebody is a little more lighter, when somebody is a little more abundant? Like, what do those energies look like? Or do you even have,
and where does it come from? Basis, not bypassing. What's the basis of it?
Right.
The basis of it, again, I want to say it, is gratitude. That's where it all starts. It's always gratitude. And again, I've never seen any video where she focused on gratitude. I know tons of spiritualists out there with videos talking about gratitude.
Right.
Because they understand it.
A lot of them would even start their video that way. I don't even think she even
started
her video that way.
How about that? No, we just launched straight into rebuking broke dusties.
Yeah, there you go.
And bringing their frequency down. So you can't be around brokenness, because you'll literally start to get that same frequency. You got to get away from them.
Yeah, this has been proven time and time again. Scientists have done experiments where they would put two different categories of people in area for about a month. So when they would put a rich person around a bunch of broke people, the rich person would lose income for like 6 months straight. And sometimes they didn't recover. And when they took someone who had no money, they put them around rich people for a month, that person actually became rich. So there's quite a few experiments done with this. So after knowing about those experiments, I'm sold that that broke energy is something we gotta repel.
Okay, so I want to piggyback on what you said. After you make all this money, then what?
Right.
Then what? What
Because
next?
this video isn't even actually talking about, the type of person that you actually are in pursuit of all this.
Have you heard the word abundance yet?
Nope. I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something about her face though, while you because you brought it up.
I'm trying not to be petty because we just talked about that. Like
no, but like, all right. So I'm just
you know, when
it's
you
just
got your
it's just an
ego burn
observation.
off, petty gotta
It's just
go. So,
it's just an observation. It looks like she checking herself out every 2 seconds. Like it's like she.
she's in the camera doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's actually not us trying to be petty. It's us
No, it's an
trying
observation.
to tell people it's a dead giveaway what you're getting here.
The type of person you're dealing with. Yep.
Yes, it's all about ego. And again, for anybody who doesn't, I used to be an English teacher. I used to be his English teacher, by the way.
Shout out to the English
Aaron's
teachers.
English teacher. And I have a minor in communications, and I've studied body language. So I, can kind of look at people's body language and how they, behave and kind of see what's going on with them. And she's always giving me every video. She's like that. Like you and I barely looking into this camera. She's
right
dead into the camera every time, adjusting her hair.
Yeah. She's checking herself out.
Checking herself out. It's all self-aggrandizement.
Yeah, because at one point when dude was talking, I don't know her co-host's name, but he
it's on channel 2.
Okay. It didn't seem like at any, like, I don't want to say she wasn't listening to him at all, but it seemed like at some moments, like when he was talking, she was, like I said, so busy checking herself out. She didn't. She is
very self-involved.
Yeah, she wasn't catching. She wasn't picking up on everything that he was dropping. So
he's putting things down. She's not even picking them up because he's too busy pulling on her hair and for me, I'm pushing my hair back because there's so much of it, and it's like, but I'm not, staring into the camera every 2 seconds. We're both of us are introverts as well, so we're not looking for a lot of attention like that. In fact, us getting on camera doing this is like, this is a journey.
Yeah. It's
but self-aggrandizement in the manner that I've seen from her. I don't know if she's ever called herself a narcissist. I
was just thinking.
I don't know if she's ever called herself a narcissist.
I was trying to stay away from the word because it's such a buzzword these days. But the whole time
she does that I know of gives narcissism.
Yep.
It really does. And now, spiritual whistleblower, she watches Dr. Rami the way we like. And so she'll talk about Dr. Rami. She'll reference things. She references things that make sense.
Right.
She knows what she's doing out here. She's not just giving you shit with no baseline. You can't ever. Most of the things that Shira's giving you, she's not giving you baseline for almost. I've watched her for years.
Right.
Just to be able to analyze what she says and does.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but my personal opinion, and as a spiritual healer and light worker, I think her message is dangerous because she's astronomically unhealed. I mean, like worse than other, like her healing is It's way out there on the spectrum. It's nowhere near where, where, oh yeah, I've done some healing. That's the other thing I've never heard talk about, healing work. Ever.
Right.
You
Well, I
gotta
mean,
be suspect about some of this shit like that.
well, I mean, obviously, like you can tell, like, and people that understand how healing works, a person that was in the process of healing others or even themselves, in her case, would understand that you can't, if you're going to have this conversation that she's having, you can't talk about broke people from a space of disgust or like, because that's the energy she's given a lot. It's like, oh, I'm disgusted by the brokies, or ill, or like she's angry. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe she had people in her life that, oh, I'm angry at the fact that you aren't doing what I'm doing or trying to get on my level, or that type of deal.
And it does. It tells you how unhealed she is. And it tells you this is all bypassing. I want to teach you how to get directly to the money.
Yeah, so you don't have to
fuck the real shit. It's just the money.
That is so true. And it sounds elitist. It sounds, terrible, but it only sounds terrible to broke people.
Right. Only broke people don't like the concept because they don't want to be lonely, right? The broke energy, it leeches, and people that are broke, they have a natural tendency to leech off people. They're very vampiric.
Okay, I want to point out right now, you're saying that while you're sitting up here making a video, trying to get views for it.
Right.
But go off.
And any of us that are going places, we gotta repel them. We gotta keep them away.
Don't we talk about that all the time with hip hop? Where all these people who make all this music for people to consume get up on platforms and call their listeners broke.
Yep. Happens all the time.
Where'd you get your money from, sir?
Yeah.
And ma'am, stop calling your listeners broke.
I lost 93 bricks. You can't afford to do that.
No, let the nigga Jay-Z fool you. He a different type of nigga. He lost 93 bricks. He's still alive.
He had to crawl back.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't just lose 93 bricks.
What's up, spiritual rebels? Thanks so much for tuning in to our channel. Don't forget, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed for all of our regular uploads. Now, back to our regularly scheduled rebellion.
That shit is fucking funny as hell.
They will put like a wrench in our operation, right, for business, right?
Yeah.
So, it is a magical understanding that broke people carry an energy that we don't want.
Right. Why? Let me ask you a question.
What about dark empaths who don't teach anybody anything? What kind of energy do they carry?
Right.
Why do you think they continue to carry that into?
Allegedly. That's not a diagnosis. This is just from what I get from her.
It's just an assessment.
I don't know, but I mean, he's talking about this without talking about a baseline. So I'm gonna go with my original gut.
Defend it instead of doing better.
That's a good question. There's a frequency that they are locked into, and for their incarnation, it might be a form of imprisonment.
Now see how he just talked about partially what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
He used the word incarnation.
Yeah.
He said imprisonment. You fucking know. You know. You've
Right.
done enough legwork to know certain things. So again, where's my discussion about abundance and gratitude? Why am I even watching this?
Right.
Why have I never heard the words abundance yet or gratitude? We're like almost 6 minutes in here, and we've not heard either one of those words. What the fuck are you doing?
Right? There's so many different reasons why, right? But I know the most consistent thing with people who don't have money is that they entertain a lot of negativity and they have not done the work to come out of that.
What work?
So they're locked there. I think it has a lot to do with negativity. Negativity is addictive.
No. I'm not saying no. The words we're looking for here, I'm gonna say it again. Abundance.
And gratitude.
Gratitude is the first word. I'm gonna give him some time. Let me see what happens.
So I believe it's all of those reasons.
Yes, and definitely. I also feel if I want to add to that too, a lot of people have fear. That also keeps them in, the broke mindset, their fear.
Oh yeah, fear is absolutely an energy of brokenness.
Okay. True. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It is true. That's what I'm saying. Nothing they're saying yet is untrue. The lies are in what's being withheld.
Mm.
And like I do, that omission is still lying. Where's my baseline at?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things that come with being broke. Just like there's certain things that come with being wealthy. Fear is one of those things that come with being broke.
Mm-hmm.
Like fear, negativity, misery, jealousy, envy, anger. Right? That's all broke energy. That's what we call it, broke energy.
And I'm gonna say broke energy people. Why do broke energy people put that much energy into staying broke instead of getting rich? Like you said, it's a trap. You said it's a prison. But why can't? I guess it's like the horse that's roped to a plastic chair.
That's why I say it's imprisonment.
Yes.
Right? And then people actually can get comfortable being broke.
I have a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have a question. So they keep saying broke energy. As it, they're saying it, like you said, they're saying it in the way that we would say it.
Well, they're
That is-
saying, well,
that
we
is
would
not-
say it's energy of lack and lack mentality.
Well, yes, but all right. So my question basically is, and I didn't want to bring them up. How would you describe somebody? Because the way they're giving it to people are only going to frame this in the idea of a person that has money is enriched, is in abundant energy. A person that doesn't have money, they're in broke energy. But how would they explain somebody like Trump then? How would you explain somebody like Trump? Is he in broke energy?
He is in lack energy and lack mentality, honey.
But
Got plenty of power and
Mhm.
has more money than most of us.
Yep. But I would argue that them and maybe some of their followers would not understand, that
The
point.
nuance.
Well,
Yeah. But that's what my point is, why you keep dragging these words around. And the word, there are many ways for you to be abundant. Some of them appear in the material. All of them do not. Does everybody really want the trappings of that? Because we need to also talk about what comes with it. That's always the conversation that's never had in the spirituality community too. Sometimes,
Yeah.
that even lacking in that community, not just in this conversation. Are you ready for what comes with having? With that comes responsibility. Everything comes with something.
Very much so.
One of the natural laws. Again, you get this. What do I always say about that shit that come on a plate you ain't asked for, you ain't order?
Yeah. I mean, coleslaw isn't always horrible.
Coleslaw coming with that shit though.
It's not always horrible. I had some coleslaw the other day.
I love coleslaw. Look. So I ordered the fish plate. I know coleslaw come with it.
There you go.
I gotta get that coleslaw
or some sauerkraut.
on that plate.
Or sauerkraut. In my case, it would be sauerkraut. I can't stand sauerkraut.
I don't like sauerkraut though.
Yeah.
I really don't. So
but you know what's coming. You know what's
if
coming.
I ordered a Reuben, yeah, sauerkraut would come with that. And so I was like, what I'm gonna do with the sauerkraut that I can't get rid of on my sandwich? It's here. Okay. Now what? And it's not one-to-one comparison. You know, people be like, you can just take off the plate. And can you?
That's a low vibrational plate. You gotta
Word. It is. This is very much a low vibrational plate.
There's nothing on here that I want. Jeez.
But I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like you said, what are you doing with the people that don't fit into that? And it's this constant talk of vibrating so that you, and we're not talking about higher vibrations here either. We're just talking about being able to vibrate enough to get this money. Do you care how you get it? Because what they're talking about, as you already pointed out, is a low vibrational plate. The way you now attract money is going to be in a low vibrational frequency.
Right.
If you know anything about Ashira, she has attracted money in a low vibrational frequency.
Right.
The man, the provider man that she talks about, the one she's married to, he was married when she met him to a whole different woman.
And so how would she frame that?
Oh, she's framed it. Told her she don't give a shit. She gives two damn flies about it. Again, she's amoral. And that I will say flat out, because all of her behavior points to the fact that she is. If you call yourself a sociopath, then you already know she's heartless when it comes to that. She said you have to be heartless when it comes to men. She said that they don't have the capacity to love. The only people you can really love is your children, your dogs, your pets. So because she's already told you can't really love men, she don't care what she does to get one. But she also doesn't obviously care about what she does to another woman to get a man either.
How about that?
So again, if you're a woman who's listening to her, how do you now frame that? She's telling you how to get to money in the lowest vibrational frequency possible. And that is the point in everything we're talking about. Gratitude, the abundance you're going to get through gratitude is the highest vibrational frequency you can access. And the reason why you never hear her talking about it, because even if they are going to talk about it, we shouldn't be this far into the video without having heard those words yet.
Because, you know, they always have like an enabler or two, right? Those who are wealthy don't want to enable broke people, right? But those that are broke, they're very good at finding the people to enable them to keep them comfortable to where they are. So they end up becoming experts at staying comfortable broke, right? I know that in a lot of seminars that speak about wealth and how to attain it, one of the first things is that you have to get uncomfortable to change your.
Again, truths. They're giving you all the truths for all of, but all the truths for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm watching this and like they're talking about, all this, broke mentality, broke energy and all of that. But they aren't even telling anybody anything to do in the practical.
No.
Like, like practically speaking, okay, if you trying to give me a financial understanding, even if it's not, like professional financial advice, just a financial understanding of what you need to be doing practically, not just over here, manifesting and, thinking in a certain way.
Well, they haven't told you how to manifest shit yet.
Like, where's the practicality in it? Where's the, understanding of,
yes, Capricorn, where is the practicality? Where is the practicality? And I'm a Cancer too, so same thing. I mean, you know how Cancer is like money.
Right.
We need to, and again, Capricorn and Cancers, we don't hate money.
Right. You definitely.
We love money. Capricorns and Cancers love money.
Yes, definitely need that stability.
We love that stability, both.
Right.
But like you just said, and you and I just critiquing this have given a way to get to abundance and money. Gratitude. We've already said that. That's the most practical way to get to it.
Right.
Now, any other thing you do, all of the different techniques you see from Tesla, the different manifestation techniques you can get from Neville Goddard, which is where most people are getting this stuff from. Again, they're pulling from Neville Goddard. Have you heard them say anything about any Neville Goddard teachings yet?
Right. How about that? I don't. First of all, I don't trust anybody who doesn't, even if they don't outright, shout out their inspiration or their sources. They aren't even like they aren't even giving you an inkling that that's this is what I study under and all that kind of stuff. So,
and that you really do, because that's how you know what people are about. So for me, when I get this far into it, and this is for anybody that will be watching it, if I got this far into it, we're almost at the 10-minute mark. We're at 8:22. I haven't heard words I need to hear yet for me to keep listening to you.
Right.
We should not be this far into something where I don't hear something in the light aspect, where I don't hear something that's going to direct me to something in the positive. So I'm assuming if you are a regular follower of Shira, that you are a certain kind of person.
Very much so.
I'm so sorry, but that's what all this is giving. It's not giving that you are at all aligned with anything in a light way. So again, if you're a Christian, I'm questioning your Christianity now. And we don't, again, you and I, we don't care. Spiritualists, we're not
a crazy Christian probably wouldn't even rock with her page, like in the slightest.
You'd be surprised. I've seen some of them defending her in her comment section.
Environment to go for that wealth. Gotta get uncomfortable. Broke people are comfortable being broke because the fear to get uncomfortable.
And spiritualists would frame that as moving out of your comfort zone.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying it is a truth. So if you're listening to this without the proper ears, the things they're saying sound good. The basis and the alignment is just off.
But isn't being broke uncomfortable in itself? Like you can't do nothing when you want to, but like you said, they have enablers to where if they gotta move, they know who to call to enable.
It's the enablers. I figured it out. Right? And because I feel like I figured it out, I told all of my students.
Oh my God, Aaron, this shit is distracting. It's like literally, it's like she's using her camera as a mirror.
Yeah, she definitely.
It's so distracting.
To get far away from them, because for the most part, there's no saving it, right? Because we end up trying to save them at our own expense. Well, we could be using that energy to make more money, or to.
For what?
Exactly. I was just getting ready to say that.
What are we doing with this money?
Right. When she said what she said, she was like, doesn't being broke feel uncomfortable in the first place? Yes, it does. But she said, you can't do what you want. And immediately the first thing that hit my mind was, okay, so what is it that you want to do?
What do you want to do?
Exactly. And that right there tells you everything about what side of the spectrum you're on when you say, okay, well, I need this money. Okay, to do what? You trying to get a cheeseburger? You try to
No, like most Negroidians stunt on these hoes comes to.
Oh, okay, there you go. Well, if that's what you're trying to do, then
what Aaron, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying if that's what you're trying to do, then we know where you stand with it then.
Again, I get that you all love to sometimes stunt on the lowest of the low vibrations, the pettiest reasons to want money. And let's be clear, we're not making judgment calls the way they are. What we're saying basically is petty and low vibrational behavior, all of it is just going to bring in more of that.
And that's the other thing. That's the other thing, because like while we're talking about it, like like me and you talking, we giving examples of the energies that they're talking about. They're talking about, oh well, this is a low vibration of it, and being a brokey versus being a different type of person that's trying to get money or whatever. Like we giving very clear examples of what it would look like whether you were trying to get money for this. Okay, so if you're trying to get money for this, then you might be in this type of energy. If you're trying to get money for this, then you're in that type of energy. They aren't saying any of that.
No. Nope.
And that's a lot of whys. I mean, it's not
well,
it's
so
not
my
confusing.
biggest issue is that when people talk about this kind of stuff, they want all of the good things and none of the responsibilities and none of the drawback. If you stay in low vibrational energies, you're going to attract a bunch of more low vibrational shit. The best way for you not to do that is to raise your vibration.
Right.
So that means the reason why you want the money can't be a bunch of petty shit.
Raise your vibration and your bank account shall follow.
I mean, you can get money like Impending Doom button, and that is our name for Diddy. We've been calling him Impending Doom for like years because we always knew what he was.
Mm-hmm.
You can get money the way Diddy did, and you're gonna wind up where Diddy is.
Mm-hmm. People don't even understand that. Like a lot of times when we talk about people's bank accounts, in conversations like this, a lot of times that's not even what it's about. A lot of times people just happen to align themselves with they have relationships. It's a lot of times people's relationships keep them afloat, more so than what their bank account might look like. You might not have, of course you're gonna have some money if you're in those spaces. You're gonna have, you might be 1,000 there or whatever, But like, you know, shoot, like,
which is perfectly fine.
right. But those, you know, those relationships that you make might make it, you know, it might make you look like on the outside to other people like, dang, you know, he making millions. No, he just happened to be around people with millions.
Or that person is abundant in so many other areas in their life. That abundance is apparent.
Yeah.
It looks like money even when it isn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you can have plenty of cash itself,
Hmm.
and every other area of your life can be completely lacking,
Yep.
which happens with a lot of people, which, you know, like in Ashira's case, her, as I've just discussed, if you want to get money the way she gets money, you also have to believe that men are incapable of love, and you would have to believe that you will never be in a loving relationship with a man, and
Hmm.
that you don't ever want a man to love you, and you don't want to love him back,
Mm.
and you could care less about it. How many people, again, if you are saying those things and spirituality in the same breath,
Yeah.
fuck, get out of here.
Right.
Stop using this word. These are dark ass words. And
Yeah, it is. It is. It's very Machiavellian.
yes,
Because with,
yes,
you know,
it's very 48 laws.
yeah, because of what a lot of what they're talking about, because both of them at this point, a lot of what they're talking about is, and what they're not saying, so far anyway, is that the whole reason for people like them to get this money is so that they can use people and dispose of them at will. And if that's what you're doing, like I said, a person that's more light in aspect would
Oh, they
just,
would have been talked about something light as opposed to what they're doing. So yes,
yeah,
it's like they're hiding the dark parts.
yeah. But
Mhm.
a person that's in that lighter space of things would appreciate whatever relationships they had to keep them afloat, you know. And
Yes.
like we always talk about, you know, it's not a matter of, you know, latching on to people to maintain your financial stability, but understanding that you align yourself with this person, and you know, things come and go in seasons. So it's not like you don't always have to be attached to this person for whatever reason. But
True.
people in those spaces understand that relationships are important, and that's why I brought that up. That um a lot of times when we talk about abundance, it's about more than just acquiring things and money.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's about requiring relationships, acquiring knowledge from the people that you come across and things of that nature.
It's also for those who don't understand the tarot. It's Six of Pentacles energy. It's reciprocal, and it's meant to be reciprocal.
There you go.
He
Exactly.
used the word vampiric earlier, which again, like I said, they're gonna tell you true, you know, some truth with these lies that they're not focused on. Yes, people will vampire your energy.
Yes. But they don't have to be broke to do that.
They don't.
As we've seen in recent months.
They can be rich as hell to do that. Again, isn't he one of the biggest vampires of all time?
Yeah, very much so.
Mm-hmm. Big Scorpio energy.
Very
Big
much so.
Scorpio, murky water. The murkiest of water. If anybody it fits the like negative connotations or the negative traits, I'll say, of a Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
Because Scorpio is also transformative. That's eighth house. That's where all your transformations are happening. So spiritual transformations, that's all eighth house business. It's all Scorpio energy.
Mm-hmm.
They 100% can be positive. It's just in this case, they are not. And that's the point, is everything we're talking about has a light and a dark aspect. And by me focusing on the Jungian view of things, those are to be integrated. You can't leave your dark parts. You have to acknowledge your dark parts. And as Jung taught, you individuate those, you put them back into your personality. But you don't make the dark parts the biggest parts unless you want everything that happens to you to be dark. And it's not a judgment. It's just an is what it is situation. What do you want? And what are you doing out here?
Well, for those people that would basically frame that as, well, you have to move that way because that's just how people are. It's not, and that's not the case.
No.
The issue is that's just how you are.
How about that? That's what I was getting from Wicked yesterday when I watched it. People really underestimate how horrible they are.
Yeah.
And you can't just own the good parts of yourself. You have to own all of the parts of yourself.
Right.
Sometimes you're a shithead. Sometimes you gotta check yourself for your shitheadness.
Before you wreck yourself.
I said I was letting this shit run to 10.
So it's like a very important key that most people miss because most people have compassion. So there's a lot of people, they're not getting to that next tax bracket because their compassion
Oh my.
having them try to assist their broke friend.
Oh my.
So
He
what
said-
happens if you make a broke?
Oh my God. Did they just frame compassion as a negative?
Yeah. That's crazy. Look, he got the look in his eye like,
You
yeah,
can't have
yeah.
money and be compassionate out here.
Yeah, he got the look in his eye like, yeah, that's what I said. I said it.
You can't have money and be compassionate out here, Aaron. Because, compassion is for kittens and puppies and babies. Everybody else, you get these hands, get this business.
Right.
Uncomfortable with being broke anymore.
I mean, that might work. And that's what I told my students is, if they're around you and you care about them, let them have it. Right?
Okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that. I can't do it no more. So you think somebody who just framed compassion as a negative and told you that being compassionate is a speed bump on your road to acquiring wealth has put spirituality in the title of this video though somehow. And this is always our problem, and this is where spirituality always gets a bad rap because of people like this who use spirituality in this way. My issue with that is, though, almost everybody, because we're human, uses the tools the same way. Christians, Hindu, Muslims, they're all out here abusing the tools, religious or spiritual or not. You give a human a tool, they're definitely gonna fuck it up. For some reason, spirituality is the thing though that gets the worst rap, and that bothers me. Christianity out here being misused every doggone day, more than anything.
Yeah, you know why that is though. I feel like a lot of Christians and Muslims, like the more popular religions anyway, they frame it the way they do because for them they don't understand the foundations. Like they don't understand the foundations of what it should look like. So when you say stuff like spirit or the universe, it's like, wait, if it's not him or her, or like we said earlier, like these kind of binary types of titles around things, then they're thrown off. They're just like, oh no, it's what you're talking about is rooted in something bad or whatever. So
It's not, and it's really about it's about brand recognition more than anything else.
yeah, how about it?
I mean, again, they are telling some truths. One of the biggest truths they're telling it is that humans like what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, Jesus is a brand name.
Jesus
I,
brand.
I stand by it.
JC
a
is
brand-
on a brand.
It's
You
a
know, he's
brand name.
white. He's white. He looks like a Santa Monica, you know, a Santa Monica
Hobo.
but yeah.
Santa Monica hobo.
It's whatever. He's recognizable everywhere you go. Oh yeah, how you doing, Jesus? I see you.
Here you go.
I see you out here Lowe's and fishing.
Oh yeah,
I get it.
The Golden Arches. Jesus got cheeseburgers for you. There you go. Mm-hmm.
I see you out here performing miracles. I see you with that wine. I know how you got that. I'm good. You know, so even though everything about it may be strange, what you see coming next down the pike with it,
yeah,
because it has brand recognition to you, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Everything else is wrong.
How about that? Everything, yeah.
Okay.
My father passed a few years ago, and it sticks in you. It doesn't leave your heart. I'm speaking to him constantly. I'm trying to live up to what he would want, what he lived. And do you find yourself? It seems like you constantly sort of are. He's a very present part of your life, even though he hasn't been here for a while.
That's kind of special. You picked that up that quick. Wow. Yeah, he was all of that. I was a daddy's girl. Just when you think that you have grown past something, you can really talk about it.
You never get over it. I'm not over it.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
All right, so first
in this way, wait. Let me frame.
Go ahead. Do you think?
First of all, obviously, let's do the first thing. Acknowledging the grief that LisaRaye feels at the loss of her father.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, may her healing be peace to her as it's happening, and when it gels and solidifies a little bit more. We candidly, I don't know if it's okay for me to say it for you, and you can cut it if it's not, but the both of us have lost parents recently. Right. I've lost my mom and you lost your dad.
Right.
So we understand the grief of losing your parent. And we're not making light of her grief at all anyway. And obviously, you know, we're very sorry that she's in pain from it.
And that she had to experience that. Yeah.
Although that's something that we all have to experience. We cannot be human and come on this earth and not experience it.
Exactly.
So another way to frame it as well is it's an experience that most of us are going to have. And it's an experience that we have to learn to heal from so that we can continue to live.
I feel like it's an experience that you have to even know who you are. Because I'm gonna be honest, from what I've experienced in the last few years, a lot of people don't know who they are until they had that experience.
Wow.
From what I gather and what I've seen.
So here's the framing. That all that being said, what's the difference and is there with being a daddy's girl versus a mama's boy?
Mm. And I'm glad you said that, because it adds another layer to what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've had conversations with women that didn't really understand what they were dealing with in terms of dealing with men, because they've had a certain type of father, or they've had a certain, they've had a certain type of male siblings or something like that. And then outside of that, they're like, oh my God, men are like this, they aren't like, or they aren't like, um, I don't want to say virtuous. Everybody's flawed in their own way, but they aren't, as upstanding as, I grew up around my father who carried it in this way.
And yeah, I had a lot of that growing up around men who were, at least where you could see them, were a lot more upset. Like, I grew up in church and I grew up around men who mostly protected me. I didn't have the unfortunate experience that a lot of women, I hate to say, that may have had with being, raped.
Right. Or just in situations where their fathers or stepfathers or their male siblings weren't as kind. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the first part of it. And like you said, there's a difference between being a daddy's girl versus a mama's boy, because
so you saying there is a difference between it, because some people would say no, there's no difference. This is, daddy's girls are as problematic as mama's boys are.
Right. And so this is where we are. What we're talking about now is exactly the difference, because men that grow up with their mothers in that way don't treat women outside of, well, no, that's wrong. They treat women outside of their mothers or even their grandmothers in some cases. A lot of people being raised by their grandmothers. Women outside of that title get treated differently automatically because of that.
I think I know what you mean by that.
Yeah, like automatically outside of that,
it's so weird, because I think what you're saying is it's literally flip-flopped. Women have the expectation that men will be better.
Yeah. And meanwhile, like when men interact with,
and they actually are, and
yeah,
men will have the expectation, not that women will be better, but that they will perform.
Right. Or in a lot of cases that they can't be trusted in the same way, or they can't be trusted, and they shouldn't be held in the highest reverence.
How about that?
Because you aren't my mother or my grandmother.
Yeah. Which is that's weird. Where's that coming from?
I feel like, we know what that is. A lot of that is just, it's an indoctrination of how these things work in the
so patriarchy, basically the patriarchy.
That's a large part of it. And like we were talking about with Lisa Ray and the whole pick me conversation. A lot of that is where it comes from. A lot of that is why they can't, it's weird, because women can't unlock themselves from that because of how that stuff is.
They have a lot of trouble with
it.
It took me a long time to dislodge myself from that programming.
Yeah. where guys already have it made up in their mind that, the first sign of distrust, from a woman outside of their
immediate, yeah.
mhm,
And
all
you're
the
right. It took me a long, like I was giving example after example in males after I left the circle of like living at home and went to college. Even probably during, I was given, especially during like middle school and high school,
mhm.
my mother recognized that I was really green and she was just trying to get me more acclimated to every man is not good.
Right, yeah.
In fact, a lot of them are, on a user level or trying to, get something from you. Not all, obviously, but especially at the age, because age has a lot to do with it too. When you have
Yeah.
to reach,
Mhm.
you know, any stage of maturity and you're not at maturation, then
Yeah.
you're gonna
I
be doing a
started
lot of things that are not good.
I was questioning stuff like that years ago too. Like when I, just a testimony to my own experience. Like I remember um years ago, because we love our gangster movies, right? So um I remember like a lot of conversation around the movie Blow, where
Oh yeah.
where Johnny Depp, his mother like turned him in basically. And it was kind of the same, it was kind of the same dynamic with Scarface too. Like, oh, your mother don't, your mother don't fuck with you because, your lifestyle or whatever. And a lot of guys that I was around at that time, because I was a teenager, and like the whole commentary around that was like, oh, well, that's his mom's and she did him dirty and stuff like that. And
Well, no, he had a weird ass thing going on with his sister Gina. I
well,
mean,
yeah,
weird.
right. But the idea is that like your mom shouldn't behave like that because you doing what you do and they supposed to just ride or die for the situation
Oh
regardless.
no,
And
no.
that type of deal. And like I questioned that for myself at the time, like, well, why, why? Like what's the idea behind it just because she's your
Yeah.
mom, you know? Even
I mean, a
today,
lot
like
of people in our community, unfortunately, had that. I wasn't raised in that kind of household, though. The kind of household I was raised in was more like, I don't give a shit. I taught you right. I taught you right from wrong,
right.
and that's what I'm focused on right from wrong. I'm not focused on being, your mama. It's ain't no hustling household. If you can't do
Mm-hmm.
right from wrong, you get the hell out of this house. The same way
Right.
his mama was, my mom was
Mm-hmm.
the same way.
Yeah.
So when she behaved like that, it was like, no, that's how you do.
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
bring your nonsense into. And now that I think about it, that was probably my first being raised in a Christian household. If you're paying attention, that is your first induction into energy. Because that's what it is. Like, you don't invite that energy into if you loved me like you said you do,
Exactly.
you wouldn't invite this energy upon me and in my house.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't bring this in here to me. You wouldn't bring this to your family. So you don't, saying what his mom said, basically, you don't know what family is. And you don't if you're bringing this energy to my doorstep.
Right.
You don't give a shit about love and family. And you don't know what the definition of it is if you're bringing this to my doorstep. You don't treat people you love in a way that's going to bring them danger and harm.
Exactly.
And that is 100% energetically what you're going to do and true. Same thing we were just talking about with that other video, that I can't trust you if you're creating whole videos on, let me tell you how to do this dangerous shit I'm doing without telling you how dangerous it is.
Mm-hmm. How about that? How about that? This disclaimer is going to look like this.
At your own look, if you had, I've seen some women though and men who do dabble
Mm-hmm.
in the dark arts, and they will have disclaimer. Look, this is shit I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm warning you before you do this. This is what you could. You need to have a disclaimer on that shit. If you are who you look, you all could go follow Dr. Facilier if you want to. Okay, but you going to where Dr. Facilier go when
Mm-hmm.
shit go wrong, okay? Just so you know. Okay, your friends in low places coming to drag you off down to the shadow realm with them.
Right.
Going on, go. When it's time, when the time comes. But no, you're right. Like that, that whole energy, there is this thought process that you should, that being familial should eradicate boundaries. That's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That that's different. That's different.
I'm still hopeful. I think that we do see the number one search is how do I quit porn? There's a lot of energy and desire to do it. They just don't have a path. And I think one of these very simple things is like emphasizing an erotic film and telling people, hey, if you're lonely, hey, if you're having trouble finding a relationship, you know, hey, if you have a problem with premature ejaculation, or you're having difficulty engaging in a sexual act and can't achieve orgasm, what you need to do is slow it down. Don't make sex a 3-minute jiggly slippery experience. Slow it down. Watch film. Reprogram your brain. Like, I bet you money that if we somehow figured out, if we told people.
So look, wait, can you pause it?
Yeah.
So like, the thing that was like constant for me in this video is like his concern the whole time. Like, no, this is an emergency. Men are dying because of, you know, either too much masturbation or not enough. Like, or I don't like. It's just hilarious. Like, and I'm watching like the women's reaction to it, and I'm just like,
they're like, what?
Yeah, they're like, what the?
They're
like,
doing what now?
What's the issue here? Like, what's the issue here?
Okay, wait. Okay, so.
And I just feel like nobody is calling that out. Nobody is just like, this is
maybe they're trying to respect the framing of, and I'll start it, the divine feminine versus divine masculine on this subject.
Okay, gotcha.
The divine masculine has a whole other point of view about this, apparently, you know.
Okay, yeah. I can see
that. It's always pointed out to us as women how this is not as important to you guys as it is to us, because I don't think that it's true though. I think that this, I don't think it's true. I think the approaches are different.
Okay.
I think the approaches are different, and I think of what she's gonna say next about purpose. And so let me run that some more.
That scientifically, that would be incredibly successful. Because I think people are hungry for this, right? They're hungry for what we were biologically designed to do, which is connect and have fulfilling sexual relationships. What's your take on that?
I think that would be helpful, absolutely, because I think telling someone to go cold turkey from having something that they do derive pleasure from, right? Even if they have addictive potential, addictive personalities towards that behavior, then giving them something else that they can still derive pleasure from and have the benefits of orgasm and have the benefits of feeling that desire and enjoyment is a really great way. When you tell someone, you take something away that they've used as a crutch potentially, and they have nothing to replace it with. And we've talked about this before, giving people a purpose. A lot of times people don't have purpose, and so they're like, they have nothing else to do, and they're like, oh, I'll just do this thing because I'm bored. And that's one of the reasons people watch porn, is because they're bored. And so you give them a purpose, something else to do, whether it's an erotic film or actually purpose in their life. Maybe it's meeting people outside in the real world, which would be even better. That would help our issues with not getting married, having high divorce rates, and not having kids, right? But like, I think those would be great solutions if we could come up with ways to get people to either find a substitute or find purpose.
Interesting.
Okay. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
not just women, but obviously let's frame it more towards men because I think it definitely applies to them more. The last thing she talked about was the thing we always talk about. And then we talked about when we first started talking about Shira in that video. Purpose. Spiritual is all about purpose. So that's what we're always talking about, you and I.
Right.
Period. You have a purpose out here in these streets.
Mm-hmm.
You're using sex. What she described, what the good doctor is describing is men using sex to spiritually bypass.
Very much so. Very much so.
I'm bored. You're bored because now on your purpose.
Exactly. Yep.
You're bored because you don't want to tackle your purpose because it's going to cause you to have to do things, open wounds, tackle things that you just don't want to have to deal with because it's uncomfortable for you. But sex is a pleasure thing. So hell yeah, I'm gonna throw all my eggs at that.
Right.
Because that's a pleasure point.
And
that's
you know,
and you get pleasure from.
You're absolutely right. And I think what the issue is here is what we were talking about before with the whole money thing and, you know, the brokies versus the money getting people is like, now that you've hit this peak of pleasurable experience.
Now what, nigga?
Now you're fumbling to figure out, hey, what the hell is going on?
What's the point of all this? Now all of a sudden that comes up. It's because you were chasing the pleasure.
Yep.
Instead of doing the work. Yes. All day long.
Now it's an emergency. We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die because we pleasured ourselves out. What are we gonna do? The inevitable happened. Oh my God, what the fuck now?
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, it is true. It is very, very much. And that's why I kind of wanted, because I was like, oh, wait a minute. I remember this oddly tying into what we're talking about right now. It does. It is. It's like all of it, so much of what we do as humans is all bypassing, and we're not acknowledging it. It's the elephant in the room. Your purpose is what you're supposed to be on. Everything else is swirling around it.
Right. And in the case of men, well, I don't want to just say men because obviously we just got done talking about Shira and other women like her too. But in this particular case, because we're talking about men with the whole porn addiction thing, obviously being more susceptible to it, what they end up doing is, I'm going to turn off all the porn. I'm gonna go cold turkey, no fat, no nut November, and now I'm focusing.
Extremism.
I'm focusing all the same energy into pursuing money.
How about that?
Into pursuing success, and now you're still doing the same thing. But now,
even though we know the goal is to achieve balance in your life, not to be going to all these wild extremes with everything you touch. It's never gonna. You're right. It's never gonna end any other way when you treat everything in the extremist fashion. You need to do everything with balance and harmony. That's not the way to go. You should not experience sexual pleasure. The sacral is one of your chakras. It needs to be lit like every other chakra does.
See, but most people, because of the way we frame money and success, most people wouldn't frame it like that. They would just see the person that put down the Netflix and the porn and the video games, and then transfer their energy into being successful and making all the money. That's now he's the man. He did what he was supposed to do, and that to them that's purpose.
But you don't even know that is not. He's out there questioning what the fuck.
Exactly.
He didn't done all this and still questioning it again, unless you're somebody who is ultra toxic. Hate to go back to Diddy again, but he's probably not questioning anything. And that's all, but he's not meditated, he's medicated.
Right.
You know, probably rubbing his own self with the baby oil he spiked. You know, and is high off all that. Like, no, that person ain't questioning shit. That person is as shallow as fuck and is still living in those shallow realms and components.
Mm-hmm.
Things that if you really are a spiritualist in any form or fashion, if you're going the religion route, if you're going the route that we go, it doesn't matter. None of that should be anything you're really aspiring to at all. This should be a reframing of, like, there isn't anything wrong with money. We talked about money earlier. Nothing wrong with money and getting it. It's a way to help you feel your root chakra, for you to feel secure.
Mm-hmm.
It's when it becomes an extreme thing, like in their case, where you're chasing after it and you don't know what the purpose or point of it is. It does need to have a purpose. Your security is a purpose. Using it to help others is a purpose. Using it as a form of expression, like the same thing with the sacral. Using your creativity as a form of expression. Loving beauty as a form of expression. Absolutely. Wonderful. Using it as something that is a dirty thing that you sharpen like a shiv and then walk into everybody like it's a weapon, like, oh, you're ugly, stab, stab, stab. Like, no.
Die, brokey.
Right. Die, ugly. Die, ugly. Die. Die, brokey. Die, you're not whatever you are, you're not racially ambiguous. Die, whatever it is, the stupid thing that you're worshiping that doesn't make any sense. Die, you non-baddie bitch.
That's the other thing about, and you just use the word worship, and that's the other thing about it too. People think that worshiping is the way we use this word, like it's only used to describe, and like the way we said, like, with the Holy Father or whatever entity you focus on according to your religion. But a lot of times, that's not even, people aren't worshiping the thing that they think they're worshiping, because a lot of times where their focus is on something that isn't really about that, or isn't embodying that.
True.
So you might sit there.
That's where the conversation of the vibrations comes in, and more discernment is needed. The more you exercise that muscle of discernment, the more you're gonna feel that when something is wrong, you'll feel it.
Yeah.
Like, we can tell. Like, again, I'm a water sign. I'm a Cancer, so we're a little more intuitive anyway. But you're an earth sign. You still feel when shit ain't right, and you know what? Like, what vibration is that on? And you're like,
yeah, very much
fighting
so.
to get away from it, even with that going on. So yeah,
it's like, something ain't right here. Like, you sitting here telling me about, Jesus and whatever spiritual pursuits you're into, but you just beating that horse of money, money, money. So it's like, all right, it might not actually be the Jesus or the
it's not the Jesus.
It's not the Jesus.
Jesus. You said it, man. Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Winding down, we say, this has been Higher Learning with the Spiritual Rebels. Stay rebellious and stay meditated.
Today's numerology is number 24. The number 24 encourages us to find balance, harmony, and purpose in our lives. Thanks for watching, Spiritual Rebels. And don't forget, like and subscribe. And stay rebellious, heavily meditated,